Hi everyone, happy Monday. I hope your week is off to a wonderful start. Today I am going to be talking to Dr. Patrick Porter of BrainTap Technologies, and I am so excited. So we will wait till he joins. Yay! Hi, Dr. Porter.
Hello, it worked. All right.
I know, right? And so quickly too. I'm like, yes, success. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you been doing since biohacking?
It's been really good. I've been super busy, but it's been awesome. And just a little context. So I met Dr. Porter at a few weeks, almost a month ago, and I was late, which is like probably a fate worse than death, being late when you know nobody. And he was super cool and nice, and was like, "There's a seat over here." And then I sat next to him, and then here we are. So. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to be talking about all things like BrainTap technologies and things like that. So let's jump in. So how did you get started pretty much coming up with the concept of like the BrainTap? Because obviously I'm someone that's not very tech savvy. I know like tapping in and doing like the pressure points and stuff like that using your own hands, but this kind of elevates that. So how did it come about?
Yeah, well, my dad was the Silva instructor, the Silva method. So I grew up
Okay.
doing, and when I got out of college, I went to school for electronics. So I was always thinking hobby with meditation, doing different things like that. So I thought, how could I work together? And I happened to get a job with a group called Light and Sound Research, and the six of us put together the very first portable light and sound machine. So this is an evolution of it. This was back in.
Okay.
So in 2014, I had sold my business in 2006, and I was just speaking and doing different workshops and things. And I thought, I want to recreate this technology from the past, but bring it up to date using the latest technology and things like that. So we introduced the auricular therapy lights in the ears while you're.
Yes.
We use the earth frequencies and the lights in the eyes to train the brain, and we also use all the sound therapies most people are aware of, like isochronic tones, binaural beats,
Mhm.
different frequency responses to get the brain to go into an immersion state so we can get those maximum benefits from brain fitness.
Awesome. So with the technologies, for someone that is not, I would say, technology savvy, it's still very easy to use, correct? You've made it pretty user friendly, even if someone is like me, which is, the irony is not lost on me. But if you're like me, you still have your iPhone, you know how to use that, you can still use it. You get the package and it's very self-explanatory, correct?
Yes, you can actually just use the app alone. We're in over 120 countries just with people who've downloaded the app and started using it. So the lights upgrade the experience. In our research, we see about 30% faster improvement when you use the lights. And if you have something going on like dementia or some kind of illness that you want to use it to help lower the stress during that time, then we recommend the full headset for sure.
Perfect. So now let's kind of go into like how you mentioned before, the manifestation, meditation, and visualization. So now if people are kind of just starting out and maybe they don't really know what they want to visualize and stuff like that, but it's really for brain fitness in essence. How do you advise people to like start off? Like if they don't really know where to start, but they know that they need a little bit of help, like what do you recommend so that they don't go like totally the opposite
Yeah.
direction?
We'll talk about the three different times that are best to use BrainTap
Okay.
and brain fitness. Number one is first thing in the morning. Most people wake up. You're the type of person. Now, I love coffee. Of course, we were at Dave's events, do that kind of thing. But the reality is, if you're waking up in the morning and you can't function without your coffee, there's
Yeah.
probably a logical issue going on there because you just up all night. You should have energy.
Yeah.
So in the morning, we have one where it takes about 10 minutes, and it actually stimulates a brainwave called SMR, or sensory motor rhythm. This is the brainwave that as you get, better looking and older with age, what happens is that's the brainwave that actually starts to atrophy. So if you have a loved one or yourself, if you're starting to have what they call senior moments, it's really not a senior moment. It's the brain not capable to move across the hippocampus, which is a very important part of the brain that
Yeah.
connects all memories. So in the morning, we want to fire that up, get it going.
Mhm.
We call it digital coffee because you feel like a cup of coffee. So that's number one.
So,
Number
okay.
two, every day in the middle of the day, for some of you, it was 2 o'clock has passed. If you're in California, it's just coming up. But the reality is that at 2 o'clock, wherever you're at on the planet, your temperature drops 2 degrees. The reason for that is our genetic information, who we are, is actually in tune with our light from our sun. So that's the time when our body resets. Now, even though, we live all over the world now, these bodies were basically genetically created, if you will, or that's when we started in the Serengeti. So at 2 o'clock on the Serengeti, we're going to be taking a nap. We're not going to be. So what I recommend is anytime after 2 o'clock, between 2 and 6 o'clock at night, or when you get home from work, really important time because you can reclaim the energy you had in the morning. Now, if you're not doing BrainTap, then you can do some breathing exercises. You can do some things to get your body moving and breathing, especially if you have a job where you're sitting on your butt all day, because they now say that sitting is the new smoking. And that's because
you don't move, and it does so much damage. And I think it's that's the problem. People want to move, you just don't feel comfortable moving. Typically, in the most work environments. So yes, you're absolutely correct.
Right. So as we learn to use our body a little bit more the afternoon, and what we've shown is you get a new morning, because most people have their most creative times. They get the most work done in the morning, and then in the afternoon they start to wane. That's because the energy, like the NAD, the mitochondrial health and energy of the brain actually goes down after noon, unless you replenish from the middle of the afternoon. And then the third time that we find, which about 90% of all of our users use it right before bed. And that's because at nighttime, a lot of people don't know how to sleep, and they don't get the deep sleep they need. And without sleep, you're not going to clean your brain. Your brain only detoxes during level 4 sleep. So when you're in that deep sleep cycle, your brain actually opens up what's called the glial lymphomic system, and you start to detox. So those are the three, but you really can't go wrong. If you're tired, if you're coming into a clinic, we have 3,000 clinics around America using it. They might put it on any time of the day, because after a treatment of any kind where you've stressed out the body, maybe through some kind of neurological training, whether it be neurofeedback or just some kind of medical treatment or discovery, you can put the BrainTap on and help you to get more energy and recover faster.
Oh, awesome. Now, my question is, how everyone says, you have your morning coffee, and I'm guilty of this. Then you have, your afternoon coffee, kind of how you were saying, 2 in the morning, or I'm sorry, 2 in the afternoon, kind of when people are feeling a little sluggish. So now, we all know that's not super healthy to have that much caffeine, but we do it. So now with the BrainTap technologies, would that be a nice trade-off to maybe having your afternoon coffee to feel kind of refreshed and be more productive?
Oh yeah, when you think about the nervous system, a lot of people know about the sympathetic and parasympathetic. We call it the fight or flight response, or the rest. But there's another one called the neurohormonal system. This is what coffee's doing. So if you think about it, that system of the body should only be used like an emergency generator. You should, like most people, unfortunately, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they're doing coffee, tea, sugar, chocolate, something to stimulate them. If you're the kind of person that needs stimulation to keep going, I mean, one, we need to make your life more interesting so you have more energy. But the reality is that the body goes through cycles. So we have to replenish it with, I'm a big believer in nutrition. So, there's a lot of nutritional ways to do that are healthy for you. And, like in the afternoon, our body doesn't need as much sugar as people think. Most people don't understand that actual stress is more fattening than chocolate, because the stress from one event.
Cortisol, yes, and you just balloon up, and I try to be super zen.
Yeah. So I mean, we need to downregulate that stress response and get our best energy comes from our electrical system. Think in terms of we are electrical beings, or light beings, really. I mean, science has now shown that our mitochondrial light, actually using our body, actually transmits that light to the cells and changes our even genetic makeup. So if it's so busy digesting food, you don't have as much energy. So really, one of the things you can do for your health is really undereat. According to the diet, the American diet is. And don't eat.
It's a little skewed. Yeah, it's a little skewed if you follow that. I pretty much fall. I think you'd say I think what they call it now, I think it's the the Mediterranean caveman diet, you know, where it's a lot of like nuts and berries and, but it, you know, sporadically or kind of like eat when you're hungry type thing. But it really does help, you know, like actually like have your water and or liquids, and that limits the amount of food you eat, and then you can, you know, go about your day a lot like smoother, I think. And so
they're really thirsty because if you're not someone right now that's drinking half your body's weight in ounces of water, so if you weigh 200 pounds, you're going to drink 100 ounces of water, then you're probably thirsty more than hungry. So you know, I drink hydrogen water probably half the time, and then just purified water the other half. But we need it into our body, so our body needs that more than it does solid food. For sure.
Exactly. So like I take a lot of like supplements and stuff like that. So I'll do like electrolyte water, like in my doctor. But like I start my day off like before I have coffee, it's water, my like supplements, and you know you're good for like the majority of the morning. So that's what I find. So now, if people do have a desk job, as we kind of mentioned before, they don't have the luxury to kind of move around or even kind of get the time that they need to really be focused. You mentioned that there's the app. Are people able to do that in between, you know, like they have a 15-minute break? Is it something that they can do while they're at the office? Like how accessible is it before they can get home and put on the actual like headset?
Sure. If you can do it at the office, that's always great. Because it takes we have 10-minute sessions, we have 15-minute sessions, we have 20-minute sessions. So depending upon the time you have, but it's going to basically give you a reboot. It's going to be the 3 to 4 hours of sleep, depending upon how you register. So your body's going to get you'll wake up refreshed. We really need to disengage that nervous system. We've all had a time where we got so angry or so upset that it felt like we couldn't shake it. But as soon as somebody told a joke, or maybe we watched a movie, or we had a good cry, whatever it was, then the nervous system is released. Now the nervous system can reset, and we can get back to living again instead of having because stress builds up in the body. I mean, it's going to build up over time, and it's just normal. There's nothing wrong with that. And even at the desk job, they could do breathing exercises anytime they start to feel that stress. You know, do like a 4-8 breath, or triangular breath, a 4 in, 8 hold, 8 out, or something to get their mind off and get energy into the system. There's energy in the air we breathe called prana, and we want to get that energy in to activate our cells.
Amazing. Now, for some people that think like this sounds awesome, you know, breathing, everything like that, but they feel like they haven't really fully jumped into like the wellness space, and they don't feel like it's for them. What do you say to that? Because like it really is for everyone. So how do you kind of like dispel that?
Well, I always tell people you don't have to have a breakdown to have a breakthrough. You know, everybody sooner or later will come to this conclusion, because I don't know anybody that's aging backwards. You know, the body is designed, unfortunately, after about 25, we're no longer immortal. You know, we start getting aches and pains we didn't know we had.
Right.
You know, what I tell people, it's a lot easier to keep a plane in flight than let it crash and try to rebuild it. And that's what most people do with their health. They let their plane crash. They let their body crash, and then they try to rebuild it. So just a few little simple things. One of the main things they can do right now for brain health anyway, and for physical fitness, is give up sugar. As much sugar as you can eliminate, do it now, because that
include dark chocolate though? Because I've read reports, and I still hold on to that. The dark chocolate, the more cacao, I feel like it's healthy, and
that's good. But if you eat a whole bar, then maybe not. You know, a little bit of dark chocolate is good for the brain, and it's like that. But milk chocolate, high sugar foods, you know, the average American eats over 100 pounds of sugar a year. And back 100 years ago, we might have ate 5 pounds. So there's no way anybody's going to eliminate sugar completely. And eat much fruit sugar. I mean, look what happened to Steve Jobs. I mean, he was a fruitarian. And there have been the actor, what's his name? The one actor that played him in the movies.
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher started to demonstrate those kind of sickness. He went on a fruitarian diet to Steve Jobs. Too much fruit of any kind. So we always recommend that you have, you know, a little bit of fat, fiber, and protein with your sugars. But of course, if you're eating whole fruits, you're going to have the fiber typically with it, so you're going to be all right. But what I tell people is, if you don't do anything else, go back and watch like the old shows like I Love Lucy, and see if they're eating
Oh my gosh, it was like my grandma. She used to literally eat like on a saucer plate, and it was so small. And I thought she was the most ladylike lady in the world. And she would just eat a little bit of everything, some cherries, mangoes, but it was like literally on a saucer plate, and she was
Right.
full. I was just like, oh, I remember as a kid, you're just like, how are you eating?
I remember when I was a kid, you could not get a soda bigger than 10 ounces. When they came out
Oh,
with
wow.
six, that was like
Yes,
crazy.
now they're I think 64 ounces, like there's something like crazy. And you're just like, whoa. But then the logical people think like, oh, well, it lasts me all day, and it's like it does, and that's wonderful, kind of. But health wise, it's not the best.
Yeah,
What do you?
soda soda
Oh,
pop is terrible, and any artificial sugars. It's better to have cane sugar, or some kind, or stevia. Um, there is no artificial sugar that is good for you. Those are neurotoxic. And very rarely have ever seen anybody drinking a diet soda that actually looked like they were on a diet. They need a diet. It's not serving them. It's actually
yeah,
producing waste. And anywhere there's toxins, what I tell people that have never done nutrition, I said the
yeah,
reason excess weight is your body has toxins, so your body's protecting you. It's creating fat cells that surround those toxins until you can burn them out through exercise or through starvation.
yeah.
They're going to keep building.
So now, like with people, obviously, like if they're working desk jobs, most people now are looking at like quick solutions. They want to stay full for longer, blah, blah, blah. But so most people are like almost addicted to the carbonation. I find like the at-home soda maker, it's a nice way to kind of control. Do you find little substitutes like that really help with promoting like the brain function, overall health?
Oh, sure. Then they can do some healthier drinks and put.
Yeah.
One of the things that I recommend, I do liquid stevia, and
Okay.
a couple of my waters during the day in between meals, because my family had diabetes in it. I don't have diabetes, but a lot of my family did. So I'll just put 4 drops of stevia in my water, and it's like a flavored water. And I have the one that you have different flavors, so you can have flavored water. And if you wanted to do the carbonation with those, I think that'd be a great idea. Then you'd have like a soda without all the negatives.
Exactly. And then sometimes I'll do like lemon or like a cucumber, like infused. So you feel like you're at a spa all day.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah. So now, with BrainTap, if you said you're in 120 countries with the app, what is the best way to just get started? Download the app, and then
Yeah.
kind of grow to the headset, or do you recommend headset and along with the app?
Well, you're going to get the best results with the headset and the app, but for those listening, they can go right to braintap.info if they want, and they can download a copy of my book and get 15 days on our app and try it out.
Oh, awesome. I didn't even know you wrote a book. That's awesome. Look at you, Dr. Porter. You're so cool, so unassuming, and so cool. Just
Yeah,
dropping knowledge.
yeah. So usually we have them out at places, but yeah, it's called Thrive and Overdrive. So if you're one of
Okay.
those that feels like your life is just overloaded, and it's how to navigate your overloaded lifestyle. So it's got some tips in there, especially it addresses I'm in the middle of writing a book with Rashika Sakri, who used to be the head of health at Google, and it's called The Third Wave of Wellness. So we talk a little bit about it there. We believe nutrition is number one. You cannot think a bad diet. So you have to have a good foundation. And number two, we got to move and breathe. I believe in yoga, dancing, some kind of movement therapy. And then number three is you need to have brain fitness, because if you don't get rid of the stress, those first two don't matter. So we need to get the stress levels down. It's a whole lifestyle, really. I mean, when you think
Yeah.
about people living this kind of lifestyle, it becomes, when you become a priority in your life, health is easy. If you
Yeah.
put yourself in the back seat and you're not taking control of your life and letting everybody else control it, then health becomes a burden. So we need everybody to get into the front seat and start taking control of their own life. And I think with things like this, sharing online and just people being educated, there are some simple solutions out there. And the app
Exactly.
is very easy. Most people know how to use apps nowadays. So you just download it, press it.
Exactly. Even I know how to do that bad one. I mean, I can do that one. And I think it's so important because I do feel there is a gap. The majority of people, if they're in survival mode or whatever, they feel like I don't have the luxury or it's out of my price point. But it's like, no, there are easier solutions if you just are open and can listen, like as you've said throughout this live. And I think that's super important to show. It's like, yes, of course, who doesn't like a cool gadget and stuff like that, but it's not the only thing that you can do to get started, which I think is awesome. And then my last question for you, because you're always super busy and you're traveling, how do you unwind? I mean, you create BrainTap, lower stress levels, but what's your favorite way to unwind?
Well, I do this. I have, if you came to my house, I just have somebody here with me and they go, if somebody can't get well in this house, there's a problem. But I have a whole clip. But at my house, I have every gadget you could think of. And my
Do you really?
Yeah, my favorite is doing I have a PMF bed that works with concentration and my BrainTap at the same time. So I can do 3 stacks and
Oh my gosh.
feel like, man, I'm ready for whatever. And I do that every day. In fact, I did it just an hour ago because that's when I had my break before getting on here. I start every morning at 5 o'clock doing my meditations and, getting ready. And then I have my afternoon break. I usually, only when I'm traveling do I do a one in the evening because I sleep really well. I don't really need it, but I always prepare myself. And I think that the main thing is that I do things now. If I am going to watch something on television, which I'm not a big television watcher, I love movies or I like watching comedies. I like to. So if I can do something that way, then I'm all in.
Awesome. But oh my gosh, that's so you do but I respect the efficiency. You have like your bed, the headset. I respect the efficiency. I probably would electrocute myself trying to figure out how to work all 3 at a time. I'm good with like maybe 1 or 2, but 3 I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Well, what it is, actually mine, you only press one button and everything works at one time.
Oh, shut up. That's even more efficient. I like that. Exactly. If you could, like, it's almost like if it could be like Alexa, like with Amazon, be like, hey, could you turn this on? I would be right there.
That's a good idea.
Right? Exactly. But that is all of it because I told 20 minutes and then our 20 minutes are up. So thank you so, so much for taking the time to talk with me today, Dr. Porter. It's been a blast and I can't thank you enough.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me and thanks for helping us better a billion brains.
Exactly. Bye.
Okay, bye.